Well, Pat, it's been a real joy having you here in Chicago. I'm so glad you could make it for our book launch.
It was delightful to be in Chicago, one of my favorite cities, and we had a delightful event with several of your friends and some other people that heard about it show up in what I thought was kind of like a old-fashioned salon, like they did in the early 20th century, kind of a learning salon. We both got to present on our mutually, I think, collaborative books in a way. I mean, maybe not collaborative, but conjoining. We have similar themes about personal development that are going on, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But I thought it was great. People received us well. It was a fun event, good questions, and I really enjoyed being here.
It was fantastic. I mean, even for me personally, to have that quality in audience.
Mm-hmm.
They were really engaged and really enjoyed what we were presenting and responsive and had really great questions.
Right.
And so what I appreciated about your work was the emotional transparency, which I think many people related to.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of being vulnerable, authentic, that resonated with so many people, and it opened them up to sharing at a profound level.
Yeah, they did, even with their questions. And I think even though my title of Getting Naked with Your Clothes On is meant to be a little bit
Risque.
shocking, risque,
Yeah.
but it's also people get the metaphor right away, because my book is about how similar it must feel to be emotionally naked, like it would be to go out in the middle of Michigan Avenue and take your clothes off. It's like you feel vulnerable, you feel auspicious, you know?
Yes,
and I think with your work, people take the imagery, the guided imagery you do, and the metaphoric use. It's like nakedness is a metaphor.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for me, part of the excitement was going back to work that I'd done in a therapeutic way so many decades
Right.
ago, and making it available to people today who do not have to have training as a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a nurse, a doctor. So the average everyday person can use this work and imagery for self-disclosure, self-understanding. And so the two ideas of being naked emotionally and being naked psychically, they really work well together.
Well, I think they do, and I think we both have a similar effort here, having been psychologists and therapists for many years as well, is that the masses don't have to have something wrong with them to find a way past their obstacle. And I believe, and your imagery work helps people get in touch with, we could call it the unconscious, the preconscious, what they're not knowing yet about their resources. But it's like if you don't reveal some truth about your fears and guilts and even dreams you've given up on, which is what my book's about, in the shadow work, then you will never feel whole. And your techniques allow people to do that they might get emotional, but it's really a way to use imagery to get beyond the words.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
To go beyond the words, in a therapeutic setting, of course, it was also going back into the past, which could be very painful and difficult and dark for some people. But in a coaching or spiritual direction setting, then the possibility of being in the immediate present and looking forward.
Right.
You know, so this is where I am today. This is how I feel today. I mean, I loved Sani's image of the rainbow.
Yes.
You know, to see Sani say she felt like a rainbow in a bottle. And then she said she wasn't sure if she was the bottle or the rainbow, but she really is the rainbow. And so that realization was so powerful in a flash.
Yeah.
It was a flash recognition that took her beyond now into her future as a therapist herself.
And that the rainbow can't be contained. If it's in a glass jar, it still will be out.
And
it's
bigger
gonna be
and
visible.
growing.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the fun part for me and what I've been doing in 28 years as a coach is it's not just about designing your future rather than getting over your past, but we don't work with clients who feel broken or have some severe struggle with something from their past. If they're to a level where just have little interruptions in their life now and then, coaching and the use of guided imagery and learning how to have honest conversations with a committed listener, which is what my book is about, that can be quite healing without it being therapy.
Exactly, and I think that was the attraction for our audience.
Yes.
That each person there was actually a very developed human being with very developed questions and able to apply what we were sharing to their own lives. And then I think it was an affirming experience for everybody, you know, affirming for us in terms of what we'd written and what we were presenting, but also affirming for them. So whether they were coaches themselves or whether they were engineers or psychotherapists or homemakers or whatever they were, somehow they could apply what we were saying to their own life context.
And I think the other thing the salon did, where you and I had not talked together about our work in public, and it was really fun to see if those, 24 people that came to the salon get that, then there's thousands, all the people that we know can use our message, right.
And so that takes us to the whole idea of mission, and that can be perhaps our closing note here, that the whole idea of legacy, and what is it we're about, and what do we want to leave. So I'm going to let you say your words first. And
thank you. I use the word living legacy because I don't want to think, on my deathbed, this is my legacy. I even coach people on what's your living legacy. So being in my later years, as some people call me a wise elder now, that comes with gray hair and lots of career, is my life work has been about helping people be more self-revealing, but with the right place and time, to find out that there's some people that they can learn to get beyond obstacles and emotional angst. And to me, it's all about emotional learning these days. In today's coaching world, we talk a lot about emotional intelligence. Well, what do you do with that intelligence? You have to act on it. You have to do something different, be somehow more affirming. And I think both your technique of using imagery and my book about the theme of emotional nakedness fit well together. And so my living legacy is for creating a program from my book that will be for coaches and maybe therapists and maybe spiritual directors, that they can learn from my work and help people get naked with their clothes on. I mean, that's what it's about.
And that's a wonderful image, to be naked with one's clothes on. And as for me, even my coaching website, I've got 5 websites.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got 5. But my coaching website is Embracing Possibility. And so for me to help people find the possible in their lives and transcend where they're stuck and move forward, and whether that's spiritually or whether it's in terms of career or in terms of a relationship, but to see the possible and not to be limited by anything. And that's how I've tried to how I've tried to live my life with some limits. There have been, of course, along the way. But the whole idea of moving beyond the improbable and the impossible into the realm of possibility. And that for me is profoundly spiritual.
And coaching helps what's possible become probable.
Exactly.
If you get focused on it, work on it, get a committed partner to say, well, let's try it. Life's just an experiment after all. But if I think it's possible, that it might become probable, and then it might become realized.
Which is the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Pat, it's been delightful having you in Chicago. Fun having the event, fun getting to know you as well.
Indeed.
And so at this point, I think we will check out and say goodbye to whoever's watching this video. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to us, and we hope perhaps to connect with you in the future.
And you'll see ways to connect with us if you have comments or people you want to share this with. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.